In an era marked by shifting geopolitical dynamics, former President Donald Trump's foreign policy stance has drawn both ire and intrigue, particularly concerning its implications for the United States' relationship with China. As Trump re-emerges on the political stage, his unorthodox strategies are raising questions about his administration's legacy and its potential benefits for Beijing. Historically, Trump's foreign policy has been anything but conventional. From his alarming pre-presidency rhetoric about seizing control of territories like the Panama Canal and Greenland to his more recent controversial proposals such as suggesting the U.S. take over the Gaza Strip, his approach has left many of his own advisors bewildered. His administration's abrupt shift away from supporting Ukraine further complicates the picture, as he has publicly criticized Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, a departure from traditional Western alignment against Russian aggression. This pivot has left European allies unsettled, questioning America's commitment to long-standing partnerships. Rich Lowry of the New York Post argues that a more aggressive U.S. foreign policy characterized by a vinegar approach is necessary in a world where allies must demonstrate seriousness in their self-defense. Yet the potential fallout from Trump's abrasive style is substantial. Peggy Noonan from The Wall Street Journal warns that alienating allies could lead to difficulties in future cooperation, particularly as the geopolitical landscape grows more complex. Trump's assertion that he is pivoting away from Europe to confront the growing threat from China carries significant implications. As he distances the U.S. from traditional alliances, there is a prevailing concern that this vacuum could benefit Beijing. According to Eugene Robinson of The Washington Post, the European Union may increasingly seek to enhance trade with China in light of America's withdrawal. The dismantling of USAID further exacerbates this situation, as developing nations could become more dependent on Chinese investments and aid, potentially diminishing U.S. influence in those regions. Moreover, Trump's withdrawal from international organizations like the World Health Organization has left openings for China to assert its influence. By distancing itself from multilateral efforts, the U.S. may inadvertently empower China to present itself as a stabilizing force in various global conflicts, including the ongoing war in Ukraine. Such maneuvers could allow President Xi Jinping to position himself as a necessary mediator, thereby enhancing China's standing on the world stage. As this geopolitical chess game unfolds, the implications for U.S. national security are profound. The challenges posed by China's rise are not merely economic, they encompass technological, military, and ideological dimensions. Experts caution that the current American approach, marked by a lack of engagement and understanding of China, could lead to severe miscalculations. The suspension of academic exchanges and reduced access to crucial data about China's internal dynamics have left U.S. policymakers flying blind, increasing the risk of misjudging Beijing's strategic intentions. This precarious situation was echoed in a recent op-ed by Yanzhong Huang, a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, who emphasized the importance of scholarly engagement with China. The decline in U.S.-China academic collaborations, including the suspension of the Fulbright program, has left a void in understanding the complexities of Chinese society and governance. Without robust channels of communication and research, the risk of misjudging China's actions and intentions increases, potentially leading to disastrous outcomes. In contrast to Trump's foreign policy, which has often been marked by erratic decisions and abrasive rhetoric, a more nuanced approach is required to navigate the intricacies of U.S.-China relations. As the geopolitical landscape continues to evolve, it is critical for American leaders to recognize the necessity of maintaining strong ties with allies while also fostering a deeper understanding of China. Looking ahead, the trajectory of U.S.-China relations will likely hinge on the ability of American policymakers to strike a balance between asserting national interests and engaging constructively with a rival power. As Trump's influence persists, how future leaders choose to navigate these challenges will be pivotal in shaping the global order for years to come. In the complex landscape of U.S.-China relations, the need for robust academic ties and a comprehensive understanding of China's internal dynamics has never been more critical. Yanzhong Huang. A global health expert and senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations emphasizes that the United States is increasingly flying blind regarding China, a reality that poses significant risks to American national security. As relations between the two powers continue to deteriorate, the opacity of Chinese policymaking, especially under President Xi Jinping, has made it challenging for U.S. decision-makers to accurately assess Beijing's intentions and capabilities. Huang points to the abrupt end of China's strict COVID-19 measures in December 2022 as a case in point. The surprise pivot followed widespread protests against the government's heavy-handed pandemic controls and highlighted how misreading domestic pressures can lead to significant policy miscalculations. The trend of increasingly closed-off data and information underlines a broader pattern that has emerged since the pandemic. Western scholars of China find themselves with diminishing access to the country, severely limiting their ability to inform U.S. policy with accurate and timely insights. Historically, American scholars had the opportunity to engage with Chinese counterparts, conduct fieldwork, and access critical archives. However, the pandemic drastically altered this landscape, leading to a sharp decline in academic exchanges and partnerships. Notably, participation in programs like the Fulbright Exchange has plummeted, with American students studying in China dropping from 15,000 a decade ago to a mere 1,100 today. This retreat not only limits the flow of information but also restricts the capacity for meaningful dialogue and understanding between the two nations. The implications of this scholarly isolation are profound. As Huang notes, the lack of in-depth research and engagement means that U.S. policymakers are increasingly reliant on incomplete or outdated information. This information fog can lead to significant miscalculations, particularly regarding China's technological advancements and military intentions. For instance, the unexpected emergence of Chinese startup DeepSeek's breakthrough in artificial intelligence sent shockwaves through global tech markets, challenging previous assumptions about American technological superiority. In response to these challenges, Huang argues for a reinvigoration of academic ties and research initiatives focused on China. He advocates for the resumption of exchange programs and the establishment of new research initiatives that can facilitate better understanding and cooperation. Drawing parallels with the Soviet interview project of the 1980s, he suggests that similar efforts could yield valuable insights from the growing number of Chinese immigrants in the United States. Moreover, he stresses the importance of developing innovative research methodologies, including the use of artificial intelligence, to navigate the patchy information landscape. The urgency of Huang's message resonates with the current geopolitical climate, where the stakes are higher than ever. Failure to understand China's internal dynamics not only risks American competitive edge but could also escalate tensions over sensitive issues such as Taiwan or technology transfer. As leaders in Washington grapple with these challenges, Huang's call for a strategic commitment to rebuilding academic engagement with China serves as a crucial reminder of the importance of knowledge and understanding in international relations. Looking ahead, it is clear that restoring academic ties with China will not be a simple task. However, without such efforts, the U.S. risks becoming increasingly isolated in its understanding of a nation that plays a pivotal role in global affairs. As the world watches the unfolding dynamics between these two powers, the potential for cooperation and mutual understanding remains a vital pursuit that could ultimately shape the future of international stability and security. In a candid assessment of the shifting geopolitical landscape, a retired senior colonel from China's People's Liberation Army (PLA) Zhou Bo has articulated how the damage to the United States' global reputation under former President Donald Trump could provide China with significant strategic advantages, particularly concerning Taiwan. Zhou's remarks, made in an exclusive interview with The Guardian, highlight a growing sense of confidence within China as it perceives an opportunity to reshape regional dynamics in its favor. Zhou, who served over 40 years in the PLA and now holds a position at Tsinghua University, believes that Trump's presidency has tarnished America's international standing more than that of any previous leader. By the end of his second term, "I believe America's global image will simply become more tarnished," he noted, suggesting that this decline could influence Taiwanese attitudes towards Beijing. The sentiment among the Taiwanese populace, Zhou argues, is shifting as they increasingly recognize the weakening of U.S. influence. "The people of Taiwan know that America is going down," he stated, which could lead them to reconsider their relationship with China. The complex situation surrounding Taiwan remains a focal point in U.S. China relations. The island, which Beijing considers a breakaway province, has seen a surge in pro-sovereignty sentiment among its citizens, with a recent Pew Research study indicating that nearly 70% of Taiwanese now identify primarily as Taiwanese, a number that climbs to 85% among those under 35. In a notable twist, Trump has suggested that Taiwan might need to compensate the U.S. for its support, a proposal that has raised concerns about the reliability of U.S. commitments to Taiwan's defense. This uncertainty is compounded by the evolving U.S. foreign policy landscape. The Biden administration's recent adjustments to its stance, evidenced by the removal of a statement affirming non-support for Taiwan's independence, signal potential shifts in U.S. policy that could further complicate relations in the region. Zhou posits that Taiwanese citizens may begin to question their reliance on the U.S. for security, pondering whether a pivot toward Beijing might offer a more stable future. Amid these tensions, Zhou views Trump as having maintained a relatively amicable relationship with China, contrasting with the aggressive tariff policies initially proposed. Recent geopolitical developments, including the ongoing war in Ukraine, have diverted U.S. attention away from China, allowing Beijing to solidify its stance in the region. Zhou maintains that China's role in global affairs, particularly regarding the Ukraine conflict, remains crucial, asserting that China is definitely indispensable in any future peace discussions. The relationship between China and Russia, characterized by mutual interests but lacking a formal alliance, further complicates the international context. Zhou notes that while Beijing has faced criticism for its ties with Moscow, the reality is that China must balance its influence carefully. The China-Russia relationship is strong but short of an alliance, he explained, emphasizing the need for a nuanced approach to foreign policy. As the world watches these developments unfold, the implications for Taiwan and broader U.S.-China relations remain profound. The shifting allegiances and perceptions in the region could shape future policies and strategies for both superpowers. Zhou's insights reveal a critical moment in history where the balance of power may be in flux, with China poised to capitalize on the perceived decline of American influence. Looking ahead, the strategic decisions made by the U.S. and its allies will be pivotal in determining not only the future of Taiwan but also the broader geopolitical landscape. The evolving narrative around U.S. credibility and the potential for new alliances will be crucial as nations navigate the complexities of an increasingly multipolar world. The coming years will likely bring increased scrutiny of both American and Chinese actions as each country seeks to assert its influence on the global stage.